Hey everybody, it's Charles, your hobby hero, and today we're going to be looking at the top 5 Gengar cards you should be getting graded. But first, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down in the bottom corner if you appreciate getting weekly Pokemon content. Also, if you have not already, make sure you follow me on my Instagram and Twitter. I have that linked at the top as well. So, what we're going to be looking at today is not necessarily the most valuable Gengar cards that are out there, but this series is really going to highlight some of the more popular Pokemon and specific cards that you can be looking for that have a good return on investment. Now, traditional logic is the lower ones really have a really high ROI, but you also have a waiting period, a process, and a lot of times if that payoff is for a $30 premium, even that may be on a $1 card, it may not necessarily be worth your time. So I picked out some kind of middle of the road investable options for these particular cards, looking at what they go for and what you can find them and expect to pay in the near mint, and what some recent sales on PSA 9s will go for. Alright, so let's take a look at what my criteria was for picking the cards that I had. I wanted to make sure that these cards were accessible. So I didn't want to get anything too rare, too obscure, because you'll tend to get in bidding wars. You'll tend to find that you're overpaying for those near mint copies of the cards because they don't come up a whole lot. So I wanted to make sure that the cards that we were looking at, there were lots of completed listings, lots of active listings. These are Gengars. He's a popular Pokemon, but there's still going to be a lot of demand for these cards just because of who he is. So I wanted to make sure that any of the ones that we were targeting for this particular list had an opportunity to be regularly obtainable, so that we're not overpaying just for the scarcity of the times that those auctions are popping up. For example, if there's only one copy that's going up maybe every month or so, then you're going to anticipate to be paying a premium on that because you just don't see them come up that often, especially not in that near mint to mint condition that you're going to be looking for grading. The second kind of criteria that I was looking for is lots of sold transactions. So you're going to be looking for cards that sell with a little bit of regularity, because that's going to really kind of normalize those sold prices. If it's a card that only comes up every once in a while, on the sold side, you may have it out there listed for a while before that card can really sell for that price that you're wanting to hit with it, because there just may not be a large enough demand at that price point. So I wanted to find something that had lots of sold history, because that'll let me know that once I have that card, if I have it priced appropriately to move, it's going to sell within a reasonable amount of time for that price that I wanted. Another thing I wanted to look at is the actual sale price. I wanted to make sure that the sale prices were pretty robust, because cost to grade has been going up steadily, and turnaround time has been going up substantially. So your return on investment on smaller cards may be much higher. You may be able to find a $1 card that you can turn around and flip for $55 or more in some scenarios if you get that PSA 10. But if I'm going to be waiting for these cards for almost a year at this point in time, I want to make sure that once I get them back, I've done the work, I put the money in up front, I've done all the shipping and fees and all this other stuff, but there's still enough actual dollar amount at the end of that to make it worth my while. A 10,000% increase in the value of the card sounds great, but if that only leaves a $6 or $7 actual money in my pocket, then it's not really worth that investment of time, that investment of energy, and the risk that's associated with submitting, mailing stuff, buying and selling, all this other stuff. So I wanted to make sure that all these cards had a little bit of actual meat on the bone. And as you'll see from the list, I think there's only one of these that has a sale price for under $200. And so just kind of keep that in mind. If you see, hey, this $1.75 card's got a much higher ROI, that's kind of why I left those cards off the list. And then the final criteria was that the cards were not too expensive in the near mint condition. So I kept all those under about $100. If I'm looking for things that I'm obviously not going to have access to, again, just like I mentioned before, for months and months and months, I don't want to be tying up exorbitant amounts of capital to send these cards off. Now, I specifically did not list PSA 10s because, again, we never want to count on a PSA 10, especially if these are cards we're ordering from individuals online. You just never can tell. So there is always the opportunity that the margins may be higher. And again, these may come back a little bit lower than PSA 9, so the margins may be a little lower. So just keep that in mind when you're making those choices. Again, the best trained eye in the world is obviously only going to be part of the way there. It's going to be subject to what that grader sees on that individual day as well. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. To start off our list today, we're going to be looking at Sabrina's Gengar from the Gym Heroes set. Now this card in a near mint will run you around $80. You can find it less if you're willing to spend a little bit of time looking for that. And a PSA 9 recent sold was for $325, which has an increase in value of about 406%. Now, I really wanted to mention this card because it actually has a Japanese counterpart. The Japanese one from Gym Challenge Hero, again, also sells for about $80 in a near mint, but recent PSA 9 selling for one of those was $525 for an increase of 656%. Now, the reason, typically the Japanese cards sell for less. In this particular scenario, that Japanese Gym Challenge card actually has some band artwork on it, which is covered up by the foil pattern, or the hollow pattern rather, on the Gym Heroes version. So it's one of those rare instances where the Japanese version of the card is worth a considerable more, especially in that graded PSA 9, than the English version of that card would be. Now, number 2 on our list is going to be the Gengar Prime from Heart Gold, Soul Silver Triumphant. Now, near mint copy of one of these will set you back about $50. Again, I've seen them as low as $30 and about as high as into the low 70s. PSA 9 recent sold for this particular card was $348.60, which is an increase of 697%. Now, again, just kind of interject right here, these percentages on increase value obviously does not take into account shipping or the actual grading fees. As of making this video, PSA is currently shut off to grading. Before they shut off, the cheapest service that they had was around $20 per card, which again may make some of the lower end options as far as sell price not as appealing as some of the bigger transactions, just because you're going to negate that cost to grade a little bit on those ends. That will bring us to number 3 on the list, which is going to be the Gengar Hollow from Expedition. Near mints of these run about $50 as well. But PSA 9 recent sold of $375 for an increase of about 750%. And again, those Expedition ones are very quick sellers. A lot of people, multiple prints of Gengar in that Expedition set. On the reverse side of it, again, this is just the one I picked out of that set. That's really kind of that really affordable card, but has a really good return on investment in that graded PSA 9. The next one will be the Gengar EX from the Legend Maker. Near mints of these are surprisingly inexpensive. You can find them under $20 all day. Several completed listings on eBay for about $15 with pictures of the front and back, so you can make that really good educated decision. Or PSA 9 of this card recently sold for $120, increase of 800% on that particular card. So again, that one's not taking into account those grading fees. The grading fees will obviously make a much bigger impact on a card that's only selling for $120 versus some of the other entries on this list. And that will bring us to our number 1 for this week. It's going to be the Gengar Level X from Arceus. Near mints of these are as low as $40 online right now with a PSA 9. I had 2 very recent listings on this one, one for $370 and one for $450, which breaks down to roughly a 925% to an 1125% increase. Alright, so that's what we have for our top 5 Gengar cards that you should be grading right now. If you disagree with the list that I have, make sure you let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that thumbs up so I know to make more videos like this coming up. Again, like I did say, this is going to be part of a series where we look at some of the more popular Pokemon out there and the cards that you should be grading for each of those for the best return on investments for those. Until next time though, Hobby Hero out.